Hello friends and welcome to the Gamer Down and MMORPG Spotlight for Global Agenda. This is part 2 of, I'm not sure how many parts this is going to be, because I really like this game and I keep wanting to play it, and I want to play it more than I want to play Rift at the moment right now, so I'm going to keep playing it. And by the end of this video I was level 13, and by the end of this video I ended up buying the Elite package, which was about 20 bucks, which entitles you to like double EXP and all of that good stuff, and like extra drops at the end of missions, and access to the auction house, and access to the mail system. You know, you don't have a lot of access to anything, you know, when you're on the free-to-play model, so you eventually have to buy the, you know, $20 thing, because if you don't, you know, you're gimping yourself too much. So, you know, they do milk you for a little bit of money. I told you like that in the last video. You can end up spending quite a bit of cash on these free-to-play games if you do not watch yourself, you know. Everything, you know, they dangle it in front of you like a carrot, you know, and you're like, man, I really need that, don't I? And you can see that they have a talent system very similar to WoW. And I was correct in my assumption that the class I picked, the Assault class, was the tank class, as you see right in the middle. You can be, you know, that's the tanking class, you know, take the tanking tree, or you can take the Destroyer tree, which is like the DPS class, and I'm really loving that. And I'm really loving this game, and I'm really loving this class, too. I'm having a really good time in this game. Something about this game just really sucked me right in. I don't know. I really love the graphics, and it's very, very user-friendly, which I'll elaborate more on later. Not more on later. But more on later. How about that? It's very cool. Like, you can use the mail system by just pressing escape. You don't have to hunt down a mailbox. And you can use the auction house by pressing escape. And everything is right there. You don't have to seek an auction house out. I mean, they are in the game if you want to use them. But you don't have to do that, you know. You can just press escape, and voila. You don't have to go hunt down a mailbox. You don't have to hunt down an auction house. And that makes life so much better. And why in other MMOs is it like that, you know? I mean, what's the point? Of course, you know, maybe for the role-playing aspect and all of that, it makes sense in WoW, but other games have adopted it, and it just, you know, it's just kind of why, you know, there's really no reason for it to be there when it could just easily be in the escape menu. And we get one of our first quests from this very handsome chap here. And the questing system is just like old WoW, I should say. WoW's changed quite a bit since these days, since Cataclysm and things like that, where you can actually turn in quests on the fly. In this game, you still have to go back and forth between the quest giver, and that is, you know, kind of painful, but, you know, you can live with it. You have a jetpack. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. And you can see out this giant door here. This is where the open world is for this very first zone here. There's quite a few zones, and it looks like to be quite a big game, you know, so I look forward to seeing the other zones. I've been stuck out in the desert pretty much the entire time, so yeah, we get the approval to go out the dome, and then we're ready to go on our first quest here. And if you didn't catch the storyline, World War III has happened, and the world is pretty much screwed, devastated, post-apocalyptic. And we're here in the Sonoran Desert, well, what's left of it. You know, I don't believe the place was all that nice to begin with. But now it is completely wrecked. And there's a few outposts out here that are the questing hubs. And the quests are really cool. I like the quests because they're actually, you know, they're called missions, of course. But I felt, you know, more like a you know, Splinter Cell thing going on, you know, because you can sneak in this game, and you can maybe, you know, plan your attack and ambush when you have like assassination missions. Yeah, I liked it. You know, I thought it was really awesome. I really enjoy this change of pace from WoW and Rift, and those types of games. You know, I needed a gun. I've been wanting to play a shooter for a long time, and I'm glad I came across this game. This is a really awesome game. If I have any complaint about this game thus far, it's the field of view, because you will get nauseated playing for extended periods of time. I've experienced it myself. Like after about an hour and a half or so, you start to feel a little bit queasy, and that's because the field of view is very narrow in this game. And I've looked around all over the place for a way to increase it. I mean, there has to be a way. I don't know why they would lock you into such a narrow field of view. And also, one thing I might add, the graphics are on medium right now. And I thought they were on high, but they get kicked down to medium for some reason. But you'll notice a graphic shift, and I'll let you know when that happens when I switch to high resolution. But you can see the questing system is very similar to WoW type games. You know, you just follow the question marks, and everything is very easy to find. You can track your quests. They're right there in your map, you know, and there's this giant symbol right in front of you and tells you how many yards it is towards your next quest and where all your quests are, so you don't have to hunt down quests. And I believe that all of these little zones are instanced, because I didn't see that many people. I would see some people out here, but it wasn't very crowded, like compared to like inside the dome area where it seems to be uninstanced. That place was jam-packed, but then you like go out into these like the Sonoran Desert and things like that. It was not a lot less populated. So I don't think it has anything to do with the game's population, because this game is obviously doing very well now since it hit Steam. It's boasting like 5 times the subscribers since it released on Steam now. That's pretty damn impressive. Or 5 times the income it was making now that it's free to play. That's what it was. It's making 5 times what it used to make when this game used to be just a subscription game. Because this game, it was released as a subscription game, and then it became an extended trial game, and then it became free to play, which we're enjoying at this moment. But like I said, you can end up spending quite a bit of cash, just buying this or that, buying the extra boosters, but if you want to, I mean, it's a lot cheaper than going to a movie, of course, or going out to dinner. And here you can see one of the other classes in action, the medic class, the healing class. So, yeah, pretty cool guy. He came by and just healed me out of the blue. Mighty nice of you, buddy. And, yes, this game does have more than one class, of course. This game has the recon class, which is like the rogue class, and it has the healing class. And they all have a DPS build, and there's also a gadget class, which I don't know a whole lot about. I haven't checked it out, but it has to be probably a support class, of course. So it's probably used for crowd control and things like that, according to what it said about the class in the opening. So, yeah, the combat, I really enjoy the combat. You can really snipe from a very far distance, and I'm sure that you would enjoy that too as well. Coming in your jetpack and just laying havoc. And there's a lot more weapons than just the blaster type weapon too. There's the chain gun, and there's like a grenade launcher and a rocket launcher, which you all get within the first 10 levels. So that's pretty cool. So you have a choice. You can only wield 2 weapons at a time, so that is one thing. You have to plan your attack, but it's not so bad. I mean, it's not too hard to just switch out your weapons. It's not very hard at all. In addition to that, if you look at the bottom of my screen and you see the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all of those represent a different item that I can use, such as a shield or a grenade or something like that, which is another gadget you can use to further plan your attack, because some of the missions you have to actually plan, and you can't just jump right in and slaughter everything that's in your sight. You'll get overwhelmed. You have to snipe from a very far away position and then work your way to where you want to go. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like I mentioned before, like Splinter Cell in a lot of ways. But then there are missions like the one I've been on right now, where you do actually just slaughter everything. And like I mentioned before, the mechanics are just like WoW, and the quests are just like WoW. The missions are a lot like WoW's. You know, switch out robots for kobolds, then you know it's the same quest. But that's the same in like every MMORPG that's going on these days. They haven't really broke past the mold. The only one who's broke past the mold these days is really WoW with Cataclysm, and the way they've made the questing so dynamic these days. Now everybody's kind of playing catch up and realizing they need to have more dynamic quests. But you know, like I've mentioned in the part 1 of this, this is a game to fill the gap between Star Wars: The Old Republic, because almost everybody and their mom is waiting for that game, and I can't wait for that game. And this game right here is fun in its own unique way as well. If you were a fan of tribes in the old days, this has a lot of tribes elements. With the jetpack movement and everything, the jetpack is just identical to the old tribes. You know, I was having some of those old feelings, you know, like on this old world and cruising around like I used to have in tribes. You know, just looking at the beautiful scenery. And I imagine that some of the more lush regions look a lot, you know, cooler and a lot more detailed. This game is very, very detailed. I was very impressed by the level of graphics detail, and I don't seem to have any frames per second issues at all. I've been doing very well with the FPS. One of the only problems I have had is connection issues, like latency issues, so I hope that gets straightened out. Now that I'm an elite member, I should have a better connection, because that was one of the reasons I wanted to go ahead and buy that. Because when you're on the free-to-play, you are put on the bottom row of the queuing and everything like that. You get the worst server and everything like that, you know. So when you finally upgrade to the $20 elite package, you get access to the better connection and everything like that. So that was my only issue. Now I'm going to speed this up a little bit so it doesn't get too painful. I think you get the point with the combat, and it is a lot of fun, and it's fun to watch too, but it's more fun to play. And if you haven't downloaded Global Agenda yet, then you really should go check it out and give it a try, because like I said, it is free to play, and you get to experience it firsthand, and there's nothing I can really say that can replace that. Of course, you know, playing something firsthand and me talking about it are two different things completely. And you might you know, start and play this game, you know, free to play, and play a few levels and completely hate it, and you might completely say, what in the hell was he talking about? This game's so good. Or you could be like me, and I'm very confident that you will feel the same way I do. Then you will really enjoy it, and you're going to find yourself probably purchasing that elite pack very soon, very early on. And that's really the best way to do it, to purchase the pack really early on, because you gain the most advantage from it. You will level twice as quick. And with the completion of my first little series of quests here, I finally get a rocket launcher. Yeah. So you're not just straddled with a chain gun or anything like that. You do have quite a few options, and I imagine the higher level you get in this game, the cooler the weapons get. You know, I'm way down on the bottom here at level like 10 and stuff, you know. And I've seen some of the higher level guys walking around, and they look pretty awesome. They look completely decked out. And you'll notice, like earlier when I was like in the dome and I didn't have any of my gear or anything like that, you get unequipped when you go in the dome, and so you know you can't shoot your weapons in there, and you can't use your jetpack in there. So I thought I was like naked in the part 1 of this video, but I wasn't naked at all. I was just in a safe zone where you can't fire any weapons or use your jetpack or anything like that. And as soon as you go out into this place like the Sonoran Desert, all your stuff's ready to use. Speaking of appearances, you can use the Appearance tab and completely change your look that way without having to change your stats or change your armor out, which is awesome, of course. And you can also dye your armor, and you can buy like the cosmetic armor, and you can get a haircut in this game, and it has like galaxy cuts or whatever, like super cuts, you know. Yeah, it's pretty hilarious, and there's a sense of humor in this game as well. I've noticed that some of the quests are actually quite humorous. There's one quest a little bit later on where the guy's completely naked and he's up there in his boxer shorts with the little hearts on him and everything. So yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, you can change the entire way you look if you want to. You can even change your face if you want to change your face. If you didn't like the original face you chose, you can go get plastic surgery, and like should be available in every MMO. I mean, it sucks in so many MMOs that you're locked into what you first chose, and I hate that. I'm so glad, like, games like WoW and everything, they have like character recustomization, but there's a few games out there like Lord of the Rings Online where the only thing you can do is get a haircut, and there's really not a huge selection of faces and things like that anyway, but you're not allowed to change anything, in Lord of the Rings Online except for your hair. And that sucks, of course. That really sucks. And I think every MMO should allow you that customization to recustomize your character, just because you feel like it, for no other reason than that. Now, what we are looking at here is the looking for dungeon tool, and you can do a solo dungeon, and you can do it on 3 different levels of difficulty. So you have, plenty of content right there to do. And you have group content, and you have raid content. You have PvP content. So it hits all the points for, what people want out there, I'm not sure on how many dungeons there are, or how many missions there are, things like that. And I'm not sure what, like, this little gridded world is with these hexagon symbols and all that, That's some sort of, I imagine it's a PvP thing, I'm not entirely sure about that. As I learn the game, I'll let you know about it. Because I plan on having multiple parts to this series for Global Agenda, since I've went ahead and purchased the Elite package and everything. I plan on going ahead and probably leveling to max level. It doesn't seem to take very long at all to level in this game. I'm at level 13 already, and I've only played about 4 hours, according to Steam, it says. But like I mentioned in the very beginning about the field of view, I get queasy after about an hour of this game, and I really hate that. I know that if I could just change the field of view, that all my troubles would go away, and that seasickness feeling would go away as well. I mean, the going the up and down with the jetpack and the looking left to right, you will get seasick. If you are prone to that, you will get seasick for sure with this game. So that is just a warning to you, I got really nauseated after about an hour and a half. I wanted to keep playing, but I started feeling ill. So, not much you can do about that. There has to be a way to change it. I know there has to be a way. So I'll keep looking around, but I've looked pretty hard, and I've not found it in any of the options. So wherever it is, it's hidden very, very, very well. And I'll go look in the folder and see if it's in the config file, or if there is a config file. Hopefully there is. And hopefully I can change it in there. If not, I'll have to go to the forums and look around and ask around and see if anybody has any idea of how to change the field of view. And as I mentioned at the very beginning as well, that the auction house and the mailing system and the friends list and everything is right at your fingertips, and you do not have to hunt down a mailbox, and you do not have to hunt down an auction house. That is awesome. I love that. I love that so much. That's great. And here you can see some of the items available in the auction house, and seems to be quite a selection available. Quite expensive. A lot more cash than I got, for sure. It's going to take me a long time to get to that amount. And there's, crafting in this game, too. And I'm sure that there's a lot of money to be made in crafting. And there is, like, some of the crafting items, are like battle potions. Well, they're not called battle potions. They're called, like, instant heal devices, or things like of that matter, or instant damage boosters, or, you name it. And there's you know, you can also get pets and all kinds of like little cool little social items too. And of course, there is the Global Agenda store where you can spend real life money. And if you do not watch yourself, you can spend a lot of real life money. So be careful. Be careful in these free to play games online stores. I will keep warning you about that because it is very easy to make a mistake and buy a little too much, or maybe just not thinking about it or something. Like if you have your credit card linked to Steam, then it can automatically charge your card by if you had like your little kid around or something, he might get a little frisky and buy everything in the store and then ruin your credit for life. So I'm sure that you could reverse the charges or something of that manner, but you don't want to get to that point. Of course not. It's better safe than sorry, and it's better to just watch yourself very carefully when messing around with these free-to-play online stores. Of course, these games have to make money, and there is nothing wrong with buying something out of the store. Like I said, just today I spent $20 buying the Elite package, where I would have double EXP and better drops and everything like that. So yeah, I went ahead and spent the money, and I don't feel bad about it. And I look forward to getting back to see what these really cool drops are, and that will be what's in part 3 of this series so far. I'm going to go ahead and do one of the missions, which you can't do until level 20. It's like this special ops mission, and it has 3 levels of difficulty, so we'll check it out and we'll see what kind of loot is available and how it all goes. We'll go from the beginning to the end together.
Hey, pal.
Now, I talked about this game being intuitive and having cool little things, and that's what we're looking at right here, the information system, where you can select where you want to go, and voila, the arrows on the floor will take you right there. And those arrows, they look totally cool. They look awesome. I love those arrows. And you can go to the crafting or the auction house or whatever, even though the auction house is available in your menu. I don't know why you would go all the way over there. Maybe just to see who's there. I don't know. Maybe the social aspect. But yeah, that's pretty awesome. It's just these small little details that I really am loving about this game. It's very user friendly, very intuitive, and you can see some of the chat going on. The people seem pretty friendly. I haven't got a tab on the community yet. PvP seems to be a large part of this game, and when a game revolves around PvP, there's usually a lot of egos and things like that going on. And as I mentioned earlier, you can dye your armor and make it look cooler. Let it fit your own style.
Well, tried.
The little fashionista in you. Yeah. So you can change your face, you can change your armor, you can change all of your appearance. And you have an appearance tab too, so it won't interfere with your gear, so you can have your gear in one slot, and you can have your appearance tab in the other slot, like a lot of games have these days. You can also buy a little bit of gear with some of your credits, or you can spend real life money, like I've said before, and buy some of this gear and things like that. But I don't know, I think that gets a little excessive when you start spending money for things you can earn in the game. Really, honestly, it just seems like it's just, I don't know, unless you have just that kind of money to throw around. And you see that there's a little hall of fame for guilds, obviously, or maybe it's arena matches, obviously. It's some sort of really cool little thing, it lists the names of all of the guilds or the players involved here. I don't know, I thought that was a pretty neat little touch. And, kind of your own little place, and something to work for to be in the list of names here, and when anybody walks into this room, your name will be, pow, right there. Pretty awesome. Hall of Legends. Now, I obviously have a lot to learn still. I'm not going to learn it all within 4 hours of play. So, as I learn more, you will learn more. And in part 3, we're going to go through this mission together, and I will let you know what I've experienced up to level 20, which I will be at that point. 7 more levels to go. That shouldn't take any time at all. Minus the queasiness and seasickness. Hopefully I can keep that under control. And we'll enjoy it all together. And you'll see I ended up purchasing this game at the very end of this video. I couldn't help myself. Yeah, I was hooked. This game hooked me in. So this has been Darkosis for the Gamer Down and MMORPG Spotlight. Part 2 of Global Agenda. Part 3 will be coming very, very soon. Thumbs up videos and subscribe. Thank you very much.